Why do you think these reforms are not being made even today?
It's happening. It's been happening for the last 40 years. Who wants to change the whole thing? Why? Somebody said, let's blame the British. The British gave us this. Yeah, but for 75 years, you did nothing with it. Why do you not change it? So the simple answer to the question is we have a system that is knowledge based. All of our, Kaun Banega Crorepati, this quiz show, that quiz show is testing what? Knowledge, which is useless. Knowledge in today's world is useless. Knowledge without action is useless. It has to change from knowledge based to inquiry based. Let's encourage kids to ask questions. Only when they ask questions do they learn. Otherwise, they're just being told what to do. For 18 years, they're just told what to do. They'll just say, tell me what to do, I'll do it. This was the ideal worker for the industrial age.
Interesting. Because I feel it's also lopsided that on one hand, you want Indian entrepreneurs and startup ecosystem to start thinking and innovating, but they've not got the education backing it from the country. Not a lot of people have the opportunity to go abroad and study. And a lot of people have the aspirations, but they don't have the backing of learning behind it.
Or of patience. I'm working on a company right now. We haven't released the product yet. We've been working on it for 14 years.
Wow.
14 years. We haven't given up.
That would just get scrapped here.
No chance. Nobody will fund something for 14 years. People want immediate. I want out, in and out. Dhanda right now. Dhanda doesn't work. If our leaders or the so-called people we look up to are the ones who are doing dhanda, that's not entrepreneurship. Where will you get critical thinking? Where will you get, next generation battery technology, EV, this, that? No, because there is no patient capital. There is no patient government. There is no. The government you can change any time. They make decisions for the day, not for a long-term strategic thinking decision. As a result, like I said, one of the first examples of this that I experienced myself was when I went to Caltech. I was asked to write a paper. There were 3 books that were required reading for that paper. I read those 3 books. I wrote a paper. I got a D. Because I had come from the Indian system, which is stay within the confines, the boundaries. What is it written in the books? Just summarize it, regurgitate it, and do it, right? So the professor said, I have read those 3 books too. I want to see what is your point of view on this. And how will you defend your point of view? Nobody had ever asked me for my point of view in India. I said, this is the right country. I've come to the right place. Let me rewrite that paper. And I got a B after that. But I learned this is a country that values people's opinions, decisions, way of thinking.
Somewhere I was reading that in the United States, if you have an idea, you get funding for it. And even if you fail, you're not going to not get funding the next time around you have another idea. But in India, if you get funding for an idea and if you fail, you're finished. You're never going to get funding again for it.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah, that is a big problem. Because first of all, 9 people know 9 out of 10 startups will fail. That is the definition of a startup. But the one that succeeds more than makes up for all the losses. I'll give you another example. There is a gentleman by the name of Ron Conway in Silicon Valley. He started a fund called Angel Investors, I think. And during the dot-com boom, he put money in 150 companies. When there was a dot-com bust, he wrote a letter saying, I'm very sorry, most of the companies are not going to make it, XYZ, whatever. So he wrote a sorry letter apologizing to the investors. I was one of the investors. And then he returned 3 or 4 times the entire fund. Because one company that he invested in of the 150 was Google.
Oh,
That means 149 failed. But the one that made it more than returned all the investment.
but that's what I'm saying. I feel we look at in India we look at कि fail नहीं होना चाहिए इंसान.
क्यों नहीं?
फेल होंगे तो मतलब टाइम गया, पैसा गया, सब कुछ गया.
So what? Ultimate goal of life is to find the truth, not to succeed or to fail. All new ideas, out of box ideas are meant to fail. Otherwise, you're operating within the box. फिर धंधा कर रहे हो. धंधे से नहीं गाड़ी आगे नहीं. आईपी में तो धंधा है ही नहीं. आईपी में तो completely you have to come up with a new idea that nobody has thought of before. And that idea, everybody tries new ideas. And like I give you the example, 149 failed, but one made it. Is the world better off because one made it? For sure.
आपको लगता है चाइना ये कर रहा है?
Of course it's doing it. First of all, adversity जो China के लिए थी, because they had limited resources, they couldn't use the latest chips. They said, this is what we have to work with. Let's figure out a smart way of solving this problem of large language models. And they came up with a simple idea. The ideas are not that complex either.